Good evening and welcome to Etcetera with the Woodards. I'm your host for this evening, Craig Woodard Sr., and this is episode 66. Can you believe it? We are rolling. We're going to have a special anniversary podcast next week. We're going to get a little bit more into that a little bit later on in the week, but today is episode 66. We have a fantastic guest in the studio with us today. Can't wait to bring her out. I wanted to start off talking about the Down Syndrome Association of Tampa Bay. We just started just 2 days ago. On Monday, we started our fundraiser for Down to Bowl 5. Everybody has been asking about this event. It sells out every year. You all know my vice president, Drew Garabo Lives host Drew Garabo, works for 102.5 The Bone. Their sales team, they are incredible. This is the fifth year that they're doing this fundraiser for us. It is going to be held on March 21st, World Down Syndrome Day, of course, from noon to 3 p.m. at Pin Chasers. At Veterans and Hillsborough. So remember, last year, the last 4 years, we've been at Pin Chasers Midtown. We are changing locations. This location is a little bit more, it's a little smaller. They have a little less lanes over there. So we had to adjust the prices a little bit. But I tell you what, you better log in. Go to our Facebook, go to our website, www.dsatb.org. Click on upcoming events. Scroll down. You'll see Down to Bowl 5. The link is right there. You can log in and you can get your tickets. Lanes are selling out fast. So you got to get in there really, really quick. It is $100 per player, $200 for a couple, and $400 for a foursome, which is a full lane. We do have sponsorships available. If you would like a spot to sponsor a lane, your name would be on the lane. There's a couple other things that come along with it. I can refer you, obviously, to 102.5 The Bone, but $1,000 to sponsor a lane, and we got two more, I think 8 more sponsors to sponsor some lanes here. So if you got a small business, want a tax write-off, want to do the right thing, and you want to support a fantastic organization. Now keep in mind, this past Monday we turned 8 years old, so DSATB is now 8 years old. Please reach out. As I stated, www.dsatb.org. Click on upcoming events, scroll down to Down to Bowl 5, and the link is right there. Or you could reach out to 102.5 The Bone themselves, and they'll put you in touch with the sales team. If you wanted to go that route, they'll tell you exactly what the sponsorship includes. But it should be fantastic from noon to 3 p.m. over at Pin Chasers at the Vet and Hillsborough on World Down Syndrome Day. Can't wait to see you guys. It's going to be a huge event. All right, moving on. I am going to bring in our special guest. Deanna is joining me. There she is. This is Deanna Joseph D. Thank you so much for fitting me in your time schedule for tonight. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, and appreciate the opportunity. It's always great being in the forefront and sharing space with a good brother like you.
You've always said that too. You've always
Yes,
said
I
that.
have. Yes, I have, and I mean that. I mean that. So
I
I
really
appreciate the
appreciate it.
opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here tonight. What I wanted to do, I want to start in. You have this is a story that is very near and dear to my heart, as you know. With me living down here in Tampa, I've been a Tampa resident since let me see, 2011, going on 15 years. I know you guys are originally from New Orleans, and relocated down here after Hurricane Katrina. How long have you guys been living in the area as well?
Well, it goes so fast, like you were
Yeah.
saying, 15 years. I'm starting to think about it, and I'm like, wow, it's been over 25 years.
Wow.
Um, Something like 20 years. So we
Okay.
did come after Hurricane Katrina, but it was a year or so later. So
Okay.
it's been a while, and from that point in time, um, it's grown. It's grown a lot. The city has grown. I mean,
Yeah.
look, we have a school on every corner at this point. When I lived
Yeah.
here, it was not that way. So I'm in Riverview, but
Yes.
um,
I'm in
traffic
Riverview too. That's
traffic is an
funny.
everyday thing.
Yes, no doubt. It's just getting bigger and bigger. I remember when I was um, almost moved down here. I was getting ready to move down here when my wife and I were still dating. They were still widening 301 over by Boyette and on the way down. And so I
Oh
do
boy.
remember those times, but it's come a long way and definitely has um, expanded. What I want to talk about here. I want you to tell Andrew Joseph the third's story. I remember this. I remember when it happened. We were actually there at the fair. Um, you and I actually came in contact, and I don't know if you remember because you were on a mission that night and you had
Mm,
a message to say, and I could see it in your eyes. But I did reach out and shake your hand when you walked past me. We were at the school board meeting, and you were talking about your son, and
wow.
I came up not but a couple people after you were done speaking, and the Hillsborough County asked me to read the proclamation for disability in April, Disability Month. And so I read the proclamation there, and I talked about um, um, Down syndrome a little bit and individuals blessed with disability, as I like to coin that, you know.
Yes.
Um, but that was the first time that I was sitting in the audience listening to you and the passion behind where you were coming from, and you have been advocating for a long time and have made some serious change. Before we get into talk about what happened, I want to set the scene prior to that, and I want you to be able to talk about some really good things about Andrew Joseph III, your son. Tell me a little bit about what type of kid he was.
Wow. Andrew Joseph III was a 14-year-old child.
Yeah.
He enjoyed having friends over, listening to music, playing video games, all of the little league sports teams that he participated in within Pop Warner and within his school, which was
Mhm.
St. Stephen's Catholic School.
Okay.
He played basketball. He was a star athlete in basketball, track, football. I mean, he was a natural in swimming.
Yeah.
All of those things were things he enjoyed. Very social. Um,
Mhm.
we had a child who would minister at a very young age to children who were bullied, to
Mm.
children who wanted to commit suicide, and he was the one who would counsel and bring them through as far as valuing life and telling the bully to leave the children alone because this particular child is with him.
Mm.
So he was a giant among children,
Yeah.
a leader, a voice of reasoning, and a righteous advocate
Mm.
in his own right. So I'm grateful to have ushered him into this universe, into this world. I'm grateful to have been his mother, um, but definitely saddened that he did not grow up to reach his full and maximum life potential.
Mhm.
But in essence, a major void has been lingering in our household, within our family. There's always an empty chair at the dinner table. As you can see, I'm still in his bedroom and still have his things on the wall and still have his mural. And sadly, his bedroom has kind of been my workspace. This is where spirit drives me.
Yeah.
And I draft documents, I draft emails to other families who've lost their children, in encouragement and in their grief walk. Here's where those visions and ideas come forward as far as lighting the way as to what we should do to honor his legacy and
Yeah.
create memory at the same time. So, a lot goes into the death of a child. And when you saw me at that point at the school board meeting,
Mhm.
that was a very raw moment
Yeah.
because I felt utterly betrayed by a school district that I had entrusted my children
Mhm.
into. I felt confident that if a ticket was given to children to attend an event, that it had to be safe.
Yeah.
At this age, we weren't into concerts and going to school dances and rock concerts and driving or anything like that. So the idea of a danger of this magnitude hitting my 14-year-old son
Mhm.
was just beyond my imagination and my thinking. So here I am serving a life sentence of an unimaginable child death
Yeah.
at a senseless cost.
Yeah. Let's move right into it. Tell me what happened that day for our viewers that um, are the funny thing is we got viewers throughout the United States. We even have viewers in Canada, so some people may not have heard what went on. I want you to tell us exactly what happened that day to Andrew Joseph III.
Most definitely. On February 7, 2014, which was a Friday,
Hmm.
it was a celebratory weekend. My son was preparing for his confirmation within the religious Catholicism of Catholic faith. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So on that Friday night, he came home and he said his neighbor friend, his friend, had tickets to go to the fair,
Hmm.
and the carpool mother was going to transport them to the fair. So of course, I'm familiar with the mother. We exchange what time they would be picked up. The children are at my house getting dressed.
Hmm.
They're spraying their best of perfumes and colognes because they're going out on a Friday night. So all I hear is dressing music, saying which outfit looks really good. And
Yeah.
it was just a fun night among friends in the neighborhood who
Hmm.
were going out to have fun.
Right.
It was a cool night that night. So I told Andrew to come back up and get his jacket. He did. And I saw the mother, the carpool mother, which was my neighbor, drive off with the children.
Okay.
As they made the right turn, I began to get his clothes ready for church, for the morning service, for the confirmation. And I began to, at about in the evening hours, I started to think I should call Andrew just to mess with him and
Hmm.
say, "Are you having fun?" But I didn't. I did not. I
Okay.
was like, "Well, they'll be home in another hour. So,
Yeah.
I'll see him then." So I got a call from the mother saying they couldn't find him. And then that's when my heart just became um, confused and upset, and just anxiety started to take root. And I'm like, why can't you find him and things like that. So my husband goes out there to try to look for him, because now at this point we're thinking maybe he had wanted to prolong the night and got with some friends from his little league team
Okay.
and switched from neighborhood friends to little league team friends.
Right.
So, in making those phone calls and things, we find that he was not. with either of them. So we continued to just call around, call around. So when he got there to the Florida State Fairgrounds, which was student night at the fairgrounds, this was the
Mhm.
night in which the Hillsborough County School District provided tickets to our school children to attend the fair. The kids had the day off from school who were enrolled in public school,
Mhm.
and they all went to the fair. So again, Andrew is at the fair with the friends, and that's when we learned from one of the children that were there when the news hit that there was a child that was hit on the interstate by I-4. And I'm
Mhm.
like, it can't be my son because he doesn't drive, and neither do any of his friends because they're 12 and 13.
Right.
So my husband then talks to the Florida Highway Patrol. He talks to the Hillsborough County Sheriff deputies, and they're investigating a crash on the interstate. So when he's calling, I'm like, this can't be us. It can't be our child. Maybe his phone or his wallet and things like that got dropped on a Ferris wheel. So I'm beginning to bargain that this can't be accurate.
Right.
But indeed, it was accurate because at that time, FHP and the Hillsborough County Sheriff Department provided my husband, with an evidence bag with his wallet, with a GameStop card, things that a 14-year-old would have,
Right.
armbands around his arm, friendship bracelets. And they said a phone was ringing in the deceased person's body at the morgue. So they couldn't guarantee that it was our son, but based on what I identified as what he would have on in the items that they had in the evidence bag, that it would have to be him.
Right.
So at that point in time, that's when news is starting to tell the story
Mhm.
that a child was hit on I-4. Never made sense to me. I'm like, he's not a big eater, so he wouldn't have gone to Wingstop. He would have
Right.
ate food cakes all night. They had food there, so I'm trying to understand all these things. So that's when young people who saw the news began to come to our door and tell
Mhm.
us, well, Mr. and Mrs. Joseph, when we saw Andrew last, he was with the Hillsborough County Sheriff Department.
Mm.
And at that point in time, that's when the news is coming over, and I'm telling Channel 10 News that we're hearing stories from children saying that he was with an officer and with the Hillsborough County Sheriff Department. So
Right.
they did their investigation as reporters, and that's when they found that there was a mugshot photo of Andrew, and that he was in custody that night, but no one called the parent to say that he was in custody. So he never received a phone call home, and they never identified us as the parents to be contacted because a minor was in their care. They decided at that point that they would load him into a sheriff paddy wagon and dump him on the side of the road at night, which is Orient Road, near an interstate, and he would have to find his way to safety.
Wow.
In him trying to find his way to safety, he's killed. He's
Wow.
killed on I-4. And to this day, I relish in the fact that it was so senseless,
Yeah.
because even as a little league coach, even as teachers, even as people who care for young people, we can never leave a child alone.
Right.
As a coach, you can't leave a child on the field without the parent picking them up. As a school
Right.
teacher, you can't leave a child on the playground. Okay, you can't leave them in school. So all of this was so senselessly done. And the fact that this department and this entity refused to take accountability for the loss of our
Yes.
child, refused to even express humanity in the fact that we as parents deserve so much more, to fight us for 8.5 years
Mm.
to even get a day in court filing qualified immunity at every juncture, every chance they can get. They never wanted the facts of this case to be revealed. But we were victorious. At eight
Yes.
and a half years, we did get that day in court and
Hmm.
beat qualified immunity on all those different occasions. But here's the next thing: when we
Yeah.
do win in court by a jury of their peers, they file qualified immunity again.
Wow.
So it was necessary that I show up at the school board meeting.
Right.
It was necessary that I fight for those policy changes, which were
Hmm.
common sense policy changes, but at some point, common is not very common.
Right.
So we wrote up a safety plan. We presented the safety plan to them and say, this is how we want the children to be protected. You didn't do it for Andrew, but not on our watch will there ever be another kid or child or family to suffer the unimaginable pain and heartbreak that we have suffered. So we presented it to them. Now, they never give you credit for the work that you do. But
Correct.
as of today,
Yes.
if anybody has children in school, they
Yep.
know that children get a phone call now.
Yep.
The tickets are now given to the family. As far as Family Day, it's been rebranded, not
Yep.
Student Day, it's Family Day. And
Hmm.
it's also on the next weekend, not the weekend that he was killed, it's the following weekend, uh,
Yes.
that following Friday. So there was a whole change, level of change. There was lights, there was all of those things. So we say Andrew Joseph Third, he created a legacy for other children to be safe.
Yes.
They may have other deaths and other children who passed, but they will never be in the manner that my son was killed because
Right.
we did the necessary work to make sure and assure that that will never happen again. So we look at this in two respects. We beat qualified immunity. Now there's legal precedence.
Hmm.
There is a case law. There is a case reference for other families to follow. We
Okay.
could have easily settled, but we did not.
Right.
Okay, because settling causes you to shut the hell up.
That's
So
right.
we decided to take it to trial. And now there is case reference for other families to follow in their suits. And not to mention, Andrew name Joseph lives forever beyond
Yes.
the years that his parents are here and his sister. So those were all areas of our being, is that we create a legacy honorable of Andrew through the Andrew Joseph Foundation, and we continue to create the necessary change in the world that we would have envisioned had our child been safe.
Yeah. Yeah. And y'all have put in some work. I'm telling you, I've looked and read up on you guys and looked at your website and how impressed I am. And I know I've said this before, but I want to say it publicly. My condolences to you and your family for what you had to go through. My respect to you because even listening to you, I'm drawing strength from you because you have moved past this thing with passion and strength and love. And y'all came out ready for the world, and I see it and I feel it. And God bless y'all. Just God bless you guys. I really mean that. Um, can you take me back? I know we spoke before about this, that he was unlawfully detained. Did they ever tell you why he was with them, the police?
He was definitely unlawfully detained. If you can imagine a child going from the Ferris wheel to the go karts.
Right.
So they said he was running, causing disorderly conduct. So they trespassed him. But in essence, what was going on is, as he's going from the Ferris wheel to the go karts, he see some other children from his little league team being taken into custody. So as those little league team members are being handcuffed and shackled
Yes.
and hit to the ground,
Mhm.
one of them loses their hat and their shoe. So my son picks up the hat and shoe, and gives it back to the boy.
Okay.
So Officer Corporal Clark sees this and asks my son, "Do you know this boy?" My son says, "Yes, he's my friend. We play Little League ball together."
Hmm.
Now, my son is handcuffed and shackled, taken into custody, mugshot photo, stripped of his clothing, looking for what they say would have been gang identifiers because they were the gang task force working that night. He didn't
Wow.
have any of those gang signs that gang people have.
Right.
So that didn't stop them from still taking that mugshot photo of him. And that didn't stop them from loading him into their official Hillsborough County Sheriff paddy wagon, driving him away from the fairgrounds, the area of safety,
Right.
and dropping him off on Orient Road
Wow.
at night. So those were factors of the case that are undeniably a miscarriage of justice.
Right. Yeah. Um,
Unlawfully arrested because there was no crime committed.
no, I mean, when the first thing you said is because he was running from one ride to the next. Isn't that what kids do at these things? I don't. I'm like, I'm still looking for what they would view as a crime. Not even the crime, what they would view as a crime. And if that's it, I, I don't know what else to say. I mean, um, wow, that's just it's shocking. I remember that night we were there and we left because my oldest son uh, Dante, who just turned 26 on February 11th. He was slightly older than Andrew. Andrew would have been 26 on March 30th, I believe, right?
Right. Yes.
So they were very, very close in age. So I know where you're coming from when you have a son that age. And just going back, because people in Tampa right now don't understand the change that y'all made, that you made them make to
Yeah.
have this fair continue. It used to be crazy back in the day. The traffic, the way that they had the kids, and I do remember that the kids had off that day so that they could go to the fair even during the day, let alone at night as well. But it was just me being from up north, from Pennsylvania, and finding out, I still remember Dante came home, my oldest son, and he said, "Dad, we don't have school on Friday." I said, "You don't have
Mhm.
school Friday?" He's like, "No."
Mhm.
I'm like, "Why don't you have school?" He said, "We got the state fair." I said, "Okay, again, why don't you have school?" And I didn't realize how big of a deal this was with that and the strawberry festival. And I get it, but when you look at the state fair in 2026, does not look like the state fair back in 2014, and it was because of the grit and the hard work that y'all put in to making change um,
Exactly.
for the
Exactly.
better. Take me through some of those other steps. What else did you guys do? I know there was the Act of 2016, the federal bill. There was a number of different things that you guys were able to accomplish through this journey.
Yes. It was a matter of pulling receipts.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people don't know is that the school district and the fair were compadres. They were partners in this. The school district would receive $1.5 million for the heads of the children.
Wow.
So that could suffice the children having the day off from school
Yeah.
because the children are coming in with revenue.
Yeah.
So that piece being shared as far as, yes, you can look away from safety because now there's profit.
Hmm.
So that was something that was kind of buried, but we through investigative reporting and things like that, that was brought to light. And through that, you couldn't look away because now you've been caught.
Right. Right.
So the act, the Andrew Joseph Third's Act, is just simply um, a bill that Alan Grayson said that if any entity receives federal funding, they're mandated reporters.
Hmm.
They're mandated reporters to say, hey, I have you in custody. Hey, there was a death in my purview. It was a death in my custody, per
Hmm.
se.
Okay.
Because at this point, who was Andrew released to? He was not released to any of us. We didn't sign for him. So technically, he died in your custody.
Yeah.
You didn't give
Yeah.
him to anyone.
Right.
So why wasn't that a death in custody investigation? But it wasn't, because they investigate themselves, and they suffice and pacify each other. So
Right.
there had to be federal legislation that cites that deficiency and promotes some type of accountability in that area as well. So it was in many fronts, whereas you had to light a torch in every area that
Mm.
there was darkness,
Right.
because otherwise we will continue business as usual without the necessary precautions and measures to correct this thing.
Right.
But Andrew's dead, so we're going to correct these things today, right now, here, now,
Yep.
forever.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So in all of that, it took us being able to, thankfully, know how to read.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fundamental.
Yep.
And being able to be strong in spirit, in body,
Hmm.
because we were getting it left and right,
Yeah.
from the people in the community,
Hmm.
the supposed giants who were really not giants. They were really small because
Mm.
they couldn't even accept responsibility for their wrongdoing.
Right.
Um, from the different political, what these people are, organizers, activist people,
Yep.
um, who wanted to serve two entities and not
Hmm.
call a thing a thing.
Right.
So we had to become our own force, Craig. In essence, we had to
Yeah.
create what we needed.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
2014, there wasn't organizations out here talking about police brutality
Hmm.
or systemic change. They were still kumbayaing,
Yeah. Yep.
and taking the lick on the cheek and just praying about it.
Right. Well,
Okay,
and you guys have made sure that that is not where we're at right now.
definitely.
Not only did you guys start the Andrew Joseph Foundation, but you also founded the Black Lives Matter Grassroots Florida, and um, you have a great sisterhood with a number of other mothers out there. You guys are just doing it, and when we lost my cousin Cello. I know Malcolm reached out to you, and then he passed on your name to me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I met her before, and then it started to click, and then you invited me to the National Day of Protest, and were
Right.
gracious enough to let me hop on the mic and share Cello's story, and I was just thoroughly impressed with the legwork that y'all are putting in. Walk a mile in my shoes. You want to explain that for me too? The walking mile in my shoes. I think my jaw dropped when I'm looking at this display and seeing what I'm actually seeing from these kings, these young kings and princesses that we've lost.
Well, when we came into this space, victims of police violence were seen as nothing. They were
Yeah,
seen as deserving of their death, or they must have been doing something wrong to deserve their death. Okay.
right. Hmm.
So we had to come up with a way to humanize them. And through humanizing them is empowering the families, empowering their parents to speak them, because no one can speak their children's story like the family.
Right.
So every time there is a case, Black Lives Matter grassroots, which is the real Black Lives Matter,
Hmm.
we, as the first survivor family chapter in Florida,
Yeah.
commit ourselves to empowering survivor families, justice families in all areas. That's why we wrote the book,
Yes.
The Survivor's Handbook, The Survivor's Response, because we can't be everywhere. But if we give you a toolkit to be able to read through until we get there, you cannot make senseless mistakes along the way.
Right.
When I met Tracy, Tracy is the visionary to the Walk a Mile in Our Shoes,
Yeah.
but she's also a survivor mother,
Yes.
okay, who lost her son, Breonte Johnson Davis. So when Tracy presented, I want to do something, to honor, a art type of momentum or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, let me connect the pieces. Let me connect you with these folks and with this folks. And through the connection, her vision just blossomed into, oh, I'm gonna add the shoes. Oh, I'm gonna add a patch of grass. Oh, I'm
Wow.
gonna add the format of the story.
Yes.
So the walk a mile in our shoes is a way to humanize the victims that have been stolen from this earth.
Yes.
And then you see the actual real shoes that they wore on their feet.
Yep.
Okay. Some parents have even turned in the actual shoes that they were murdered in,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. I
So
saw.
it's all a personal preference, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's a heartfelt memorial
Yes.
that's driven from the voices of those that have gone. And when the parents see these monuments, they're so, so grateful,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you want your loved one to be remembered.
Hmm.
It's often, my husband would say, it's really hard to keep a dead person alive
Hmm.
for 20 years.
Yeah.
These monuments will,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
You're
they
right.
travel in every city, every state
Yeah.
that we find ourselves in, and that Tracy continues to travel and find herself in.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a labor of love in all areas,
Yes.
but it's also a survival mechanism
Hmm.
for us.
Right. Right. You guys had your gala just a couple weeks ago, February. Very busy month for you all.
Yes.
The month before Andrew's birthday, um, his anniversary of his death, his burial. You all went back to New Orleans this past weekend. You can tell me a little bit about that, but I want to talk about the gala that you guys throw every year. You guys had the gala a couple weeks ago. I was fortunate enough to be able to come um, and partake, and it was beautiful. It was wonderful. The food was good. The scenery was absolutely gorgeous. It was the Coming to America theme. It was great. Funny thing too, I stood up and my bow tie popped off, and one of the guys sitting next to me at the table said, "Hey, your bow tie fell." And we were all standing up during like taking a break at this time, and your husband was one. Andrew came over, and Michael Brown Sr. was there, and then I got to meet that oh so well. And we had three guys helping me get my bow tie back on, and it
That's
was
what it's about.
we were in the front of the room, and I had to say something to them about that. I said, "Man, three brothers helping me get my bow tie on. I appreciate y'all, fellas. I really do." But
That's what we do. We love and support each other.
absolutely, talk about the gala. You guys throw the gala every year on behalf of Andrew the Third, right?
Yes, every year the Andrew Joseph Foundation hosts this. an event on the memorial of his death.
Yeah.
On this particular year, it happened to fall exactly on February 7th, which was the day that we got the devastating news.
Hmm.
And the Coming to America theme just came from the basis of everybody deserving to come home.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about everything that's going on with ICE and immigration and those pieces that are going on in the world,
Hmm.
um, it took me to the point in time where we were stolen from our land,
Yeah.
the motherland of Africa. And I had just returned from Africa a week before
Wow.
on a mission trip with my daughter. And from that point, it's been, how do we create a world in which we are free?
Yeah.
What does freedom looks like? What does healing look like? And if there is to be healing, let's do it collectively among all the different diverse cultures. So in the Coming to America was just stemming from that vision, um, planning a mission trip, a diaspora mission trip with survivor families going forward, just so they can come and experience the motherland, and come take the bath, be part of the immersion of what freedom could look like for us. You know,
Yeah.
if we are being killed and not appreciated here in this America, then let's ship up and go back home.
Yeah.
You know, let's look at the idea of building the continent up
Yeah.
and bringing our resources there. Let's look at and envision um, living with fresh fruits and vegetables and growing things to sustain ourselves.
Hmm.
It's just a coming to um, realization that we will never find healing in a land that has stolen, beaten, brutalized, raped our women, raped our families, brutalized, stole from us. And when that light turned on for me, that I am exerting all of this energy in this place, but this place has never reciprocated love, appreciation, honor back. You know, it's always on borrowed time and with some contingency plan. You
Right.
know, um, in this immediate consequence, you run a light, your consequences are immediate.
Hmm.
For us, we have to fight, pound, have protests,
Yeah.
have opportunities where we voice in our concerns. Nobody else have to go through all that for justice and accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Um, I have just a couple questions for you here, and I'm gonna let you go. Um, can you tell me about um, the Team Pee Wee program?
Team Pee Wee is all of us. As you know, my boy, my son was a rah rah. He was a root you on. If
Yes.
you couldn't get your laps in, my
Yes.
son is the one to say, "Come on, you can do it. You can do it." So Team Pee Wee is that. Team Pee
Oh,
Wee is all of us saying we can do it.
awesome.
And he's speaking encouragement and motivation through Team Pee Wee, saying, if we don't get it, we're going to shut it all the way down.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because at this point in time, we have all come together collectively as a force.
Yeah.
And we know without a doubt that we can't lose with the things that we use.
Hmm.
Okay? We can't lose.
Right. I know you have some tough times. What are the toughest times for you as a mom? Is it holidays? What are when are you at your weakest?
It is moments where my soul recalls the trauma. So it's going to always be January, February, March,
Yeah.
and then I kind of tweak down on April. Okay,
Okay.
but those are times in which my soul recalls and it
Yeah.
remembers that shock is about to come.
Yeah.
when the seasons change, when the time changes, and now it's dark
Mm.
early.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so all those are a onset to my season.
Mm.
But through that, you know, I keep busy.
I know you
I
do.
work through it. You know,
Yeah,
I
you
work
do.
through it and push through it.
Yeah.
Um, so those are my times. The holidays is difficult because now I see cousins and children who are growing up and having their children now, um, and getting married and things like that. And I don't have that
Yeah.
yet, with my son. So I'll get that with my daughter. But at this point, that's the only thing I have as far as a milestone reminder is through those family members who he grew up with, and
Yeah.
now they're having children, and my cousins are grandparents and those
Yeah.
type of things, and I don't have that. So it's hard. It becomes a sour moment for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
but I just keep busy. I keep busy, and I write a lot, listen to soothing music, do
Mhm.
all of my healing practices that I've learned through the years.
Mhm.
Good thing I was a social worker because I could talk therapy myself. Uh, yeah, so I use stuff I used on my clients back in the
There
day.
you go.
So
Yeah.
I help myself.
That's
So,
right.
but at the same time, I'm still here 12
Yeah.
years later,
Yeah.
and I, um, I I'm grateful to come from the space where I was in deep mourning to
Yes.
now moving things, and creating infrastructure for families who've come behind us.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, none of those things existed. There was no infrastructure. There was no radio station. There was none of those things that we do now that
Mhm.
existed for us back in 2014.
Right. Um, I spoke with you last week on the phone, and you're back home, back in New Orleans. Can you share about your visit and what you guys were doing back home?
Yes. So New Orleans is the final resting place for my son. My
Yeah.
son had two funerals. Of course, he was a student here, so we had a funeral here for the young people, for his teammates, for those that he touched here, and it was full, full. The church was full.
Yeah.
Repast was full. Everybody's so gracious, so loving, beautiful, beautiful extensions of love. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I didn't feel as though Tampa deserved his remains because they had already killed his body.
Yeah.
So I took my child home
Yeah.
and figured that that's where he was born
Yep.
and that's where he would rest. And that's what we go back, because that particular next week would have been his funeral.
Hmm.
Um, so we spend time at his mausoleum, clean it off, put flowers, spend time with his favorite things. His favorite was brown sugar, cinnamon Pop Tarts. you know,
That's right.
so, okay, so we all enjoy brown sugar cinnamon Pop Tarts
That's right.
right
That's
there
awesome.
in front of
Yeah.
his mausoleum.
That's
So
awesome. Oh
yeah,
man.
so it's our way of doing what we do.
Yeah.
Some people may not understand it, but you know
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what.
Well, there's a lot of people who are watching and listening to your story. A lot of people already know your story. A lot of my folks from Erie, Pennsylvania, and beyond heard your story tonight, and um, I know a lot of them are drawing off of the strength that you have, just like I have. And it has been my honor to meet you and your family and to be associated with you all, and for you to join me tonight is just awesome. What kind of parting words do you have for us. I know a lot of people that are watching right now. We're out as activists and advocating for my cousin Cello in Erie, Pennsylvania. What kind of parting words do you have for us in our journey with where Cello is at right now?
Oh, wow. Well, look, I will leave you with this.
Yeah,
Naysayers will tell you, oh, you can't do that.
yeah,
Oh, they're too big for you.
hmm
Oh, this is what's going to happen. Oh, you better leave. They'll leave it alone. You better
hmm
leave those people alone. They try to invoke fear in you
hmm
as if this is going to come after you. But
hmm
I'm telling you, giants do fall.
yeah,
Giants fall. And you just have to be 10 toes down with your back straight
hmm
and your mind set on
yeah,
your target. So
yes,
I leave you with that, and I leave anybody else with that who's listening to this.
yes, yes,
The worst has happened.
yeah.
So
You're
we
right.
have nothing at this point to lose.
Yeah,
Nothing.
it's all in,
It's all in.
all in.
No turning back.
Deanna Joseph, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really, really appreciate it. Please give my love to the family, okay?
I definitely will. And thank you so much for having us on. Thank you so much for being who you are, a man of integrity. And thank you for all those years ago when you extended your hand to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So
Who would
I
have known?
appreciate you and your family and all
Absolutely.
of those that are listening.
Yeah.
If y'all heard and you liked what we said today, follow us at the Andrew Joseph Foundation. You
Yes.
know, we always willing and looking for volunteers. The work is heavy.
hmm
The work is heavy. Trust
Yeah.
and believe, but the laborers are few.
Yes. God bless you, ma'am. Thank you so much, D. I appreciate you joining me tonight.
Thank you.
All
Good
righty.
night.
Deanna Joseph, everyone. She is absolutely incredible. Like I said, very near and dear to my heart, being right down here in Tampa, Florida. Just not 2, 3 years after I got down here, and my son Dante moved down here with us, and like I said, they're a month and a half. Um, Difference in age. Andrew Joseph III and my son Dante. And, I do specifically remember when that happened, and a couple years after that, in passing, met um, Mrs. Joseph at the school board meeting and was very impressed with what she had to say then. And who would have thought that we would have went full circle, uh, you know, and come all the way back around and meet her again and um, you know uh, find out how her family could um, touch my family's lives and give us advice and give us kind of the blueprint of the strategic way ahead. They've done some great things. The Act of 2016 federal bill, they've made some change with the Florida State Fair. Um, they've put in work. And as she said, it's not easy. You get people that tell you you can't do this, you can't do that, and you get people that try to divide this and divide that, and you just have to keep it moving and don't let it happen. Um, you know, uh, as I always say, you keep the main thing, and if you do that, you will prevail. You keep fighting, and that's what we are doing here. Um, to have you know Deanna and Andrew Joseph to look up to here in Tampa for me is a big deal for me. They are classy people, classy individuals. Uh, they fight hard, and and Deanna could be a bear. Absolutely, strong woman, and she gonna tell you like it is. And like I said, um, she put it plain as day. The worst has happened. The worst has happened. So for her to have the strength that she has, and to see her smile, and to see her sitting on my podcast, um, in Andrew Joseph III's bedroom, um, just brought chills to me. So honored to have her on my show. We're going to continue to bring you some great interviews, some great families, great people that have um, some tragic stories to share, but they are strong enough to pass their message on to others. And we're going to continue to do this week in and week out. So I appreciate everybody listening. I really do. You can go to Deanna Joseph's Facebook page, or better yet, you can go to their website, the Andrew Joseph Foundation website. They do have that book for sale, Survivor's Response Guide. If anyone goes through anything tragic, it is an excellent book to pick up. They do a lot of workshops. They do a lot of different things to help people. They are passing it on. They are passing it on and pulling people up. And that is one of the reasons why we connected. And I really appreciate her. Okay. So for Deanna Joseph, I am Craig Woodard, Sr. And I tell you what, man, we have another really, really good interview coming up on Sunday night at 7:30. You guys do not want to miss this one either. I'm going to continue to bring great people and put them right in front of you, so you can hear these stories that you have heard already nationwide, but you're going to hear from the families and activists right here on Etcetera with the Woodard. For Deanna Joseph, I'm Craig Woodard, Sr. Good night. We'll see you on Sunday night.